How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
3 losses on the trot, 17 players used in 4 games, including all 7 of their overseas. This just doesn't feel like the same Chennai Super Kings. And yes, it's still early days in the season, but it looks like it's going to be hard work for Ruturaj Gaikwad, Stephen Fleming and the rest. So this is a conversation about how CSK can turn it around and what the challenges are with Sanjay Bangar and Ambati Rayudu. And is it fair to say, Rayudu, even though in the past teams may start slowly and whatnot, that this CSK team seems like it has a lot of problems and the pitch is not necessarily the only one?
Yeah, I think so. Purely because they are trying to compare this CSK team to the erstwhile CSK teams, which have been really, really good and have won tournaments. So, when you see it in terms of like for like of the players that were in the past compared to now, I would say, they're not the same. And it's very difficult to replace a certain player with a certain player. They have to, accept the reality and get the best out of what they have at the moment. And that's where I feel they seem a little confused.
Yeah.
They can't get their combinations right. And, the players that they thought would come and deliver in certain positions or certain numbers, especially in batting, have not been able to do that. So it's quite an uphill task for them going into the season. And also, I feel that they will come back strong once they get the combination right and once they get the personnel right.
Is it a question of combination and personnel, or if you were in that dugout right now, Sanjay Bangar and Stephen Fleming has been there for a long time, what is the acceptance of the problems that Rayudu talks about? What is their reality? What are their challenges?
I think the challenge first is batting not clicking. And no doubt Rayudu said that the quality of players may differ from generation to generation, but you still have a Ruturaj, Conway who have played for this franchise for a number of years now. So I think top order not getting runs is one of the issue. Shivam Dube not being the Dube of a couple of seasons is the issue. And MS and Jadeja at the stage that they are, more so MS, you are not expecting him to come and, do the bulk of the scoring in the last 6 or 7 overs. So, the combination at this time seems right. Whatever they have arrived at after the first 3 experimental games, but in the 4th game I just felt that the combination was just about right. It's a matter of the batting coming together and giving them the runs at the top which can get the confidence back into the team.
Are we looking at a team where when we know the benefit of retaining a core and building around the same core and loyalty and whatnot, but are we looking at a core that has not only Dhoni but also a Jadeja who's perhaps past his prime?
I wouldn't say that because he is someone who is really fit and who has actually come into his own in the last 5 or 6 years. We have seen a brilliant batsman in Jadeja, which we have not seen in his early years, especially those match-winning knocks, chasing and especially playing in those 16 to 20 over period. So I feel that is the period in which ideally Jadeja and Dhoni, if they bat in that period, they'll be much more effective than coming in the overs from 10 to 14. See, that is not their strength.
But forgive me, Rayudu, I'm just thinking that not being able to chase 180 plus or not even coming close to chase a 180, 200 plus is something that looks like it's a story for the CSK team.
Yeah, as Sanjay Bhai said, I think CSK has always relied on the openers. Historically, when the openers have done well, the team has historically done well. And especially in Chennai, when you're playing on those wickets, you need good starts. Because it's not easy to play in the middle overs as well as in the later part of the innings. So I would say, definitely they need better intent in terms of when you want to chase 180 or a 200, you need to go hard even in the middle overs. You can't really wait till the end. And they also need people to do that. They also need batters coming in to have that positivity in them saying that, okay, I'll go for it no matter what. I might get out, so what? So I think that's the little attitude that they need to get in their future games.
Looking at the recent CSK teams that still did well, which Rayudu was a part of, you still had explosive batters or batters who could play that gear like Rayudu himself if the openers didn't click or if he was coming in the middle. Dubey did that last year, Sanjay, but do you feel like there could be a sense now that perhaps they've invested in the wrong players? Players like Vijay Shankar, with due respect, or Rahul Tripathi or Deepak Hooda, they aren't the quality of batters that Rayudu himself or an Ajinkya Rahane or some of the others who used to play that middle role were.
See, I mean, Vijay Shankar still played a very, very useful knock the other day. And he seems to be the guy who can fit in the mold because they have a little bit of a mold wherein right from the start, if you think Badrinath doing a particular job and then every player, you spoke of Ajinkya Rahane, you spoke of Rayudu himself, they had an individual flair to themselves.
Right.
So, I mean, it's too early to call on, say, take a call on Deepak Hooda or even a Tripathi because Tripathi is somebody who is quite valued in franchise cricket in IPL. So, I'm not really saying that.
But the fact that they've been left out already after 1 or 2 games, I mean, that also indicates that the team has taken a call on them potentially and very unlike CSK.
Yeah, but you know, it's not, Sanjay bhai, I mean, it is not easy to start your career if you're making a comeback in the IPL or trying to find form in the IPL. Chepauk is not an ideal ground to really go there and, you know, get runs initially. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of experience to play on that pitch. It is not easy, trust me. And these guys are good players. I'm not saying, you know, they're not good players. They are fantastic players against spin, which is the reason why CSK has bought them in the auction because they can play in those middle overs, especially Hooda and Vijay Shankar. And Hooda has done really well when he has batted at 5, 6 and 7. You know, historically you have seen some good innings towards the end. And Vijay Shankar, as Sanjay bhai said, you know, it's good that he has gotten some time in the middle, but these 3, at least 2 of them have to really click for CSK if they, you know, if the batting unit has to do well because Dhoni and Jadeja are good when it comes from 16th to 20th over. Anything before that is quite difficult. They have never done that for CSK.
I'm still thinking whether now because the team is losing and the batting is not firing, it makes the Dhoni decision, puts it under the spotlight. The Dhoni situation, let's call it the elephant in the room if we must, but it doesn't seem like Dhoni's batting prowess at this point is helping the CSK cause. A reality we will accept is that Dhoni will still play. How can they manage to be a little more shrewd either tactically to ensure that when Dhoni comes out, it's not the emotion of the game is, you know, effectively gone and it's only for the crowds because I say it's feeling like that. I wonder if you agree.
I don't agree with that, you know, Dhoni is just playing for the sake of the crowd and not for helping CSK win the games because the role that was cut out for him and that has been the role that he's been playing for the last 2 or 3 seasons of, you know, being a wicket keeper, very useful wicket keeper and helping finishing the innings with a flourish maybe in the last 2 or 3 overs. Basically the problem lies at the top. They could have probably stuck to the same opening combination. Rachin Ravindra's form in ODI cricket may have forced them to maybe change up the top 3 a little bit. But still, if they do the job at the top, I don't think the problem is in the lower half of the innings. The problem is in the top half of the innings and that's where the players have to step up and perform.
No, I mean, Sanjay bhai is, I would say, absolutely right. Why? Because when you see that chase
Against Delhi.
Delhi, we have seen they have lost by 28 runs, if I'm not wrong, 25 or
25, yes.
25 runs. So that is 4 hits for you. I mean, 4 sixes. So those 4 sixes generally used to come in those middle overs when you are chasing or when you are batting first in CSK in those middle overs with the likes of batsmen who used to go slightly hard. And Dhoni always used to have this pattern that he would wait till the end and that has been the way he has always batted. So, see, all you can say is, yeah, he should have gone a little earlier just because he's not the same Dhoni that we know or the same Dhoni who has played in 2017, 18 or, you know, before that. So that's the whole reason why maybe he should start going a little earlier than what he is used to. Other than that, other batsmen have to get those big hits in the middle,
Yeah.
which is, that's where I feel they are lacking.
No,
at the
yeah,
moment.
where I'm coming from is that I don't think anybody would fault him if he goes earlier and fails. That's perfectly understandable. It's just whether the intent can be adjusted when the game you think is more alive
his
than
pattern
later.
can be adjusted.
Right.
His batting
Pattern.
pattern can be slightly adjusted.
It's a tough thing to tell
no,
someone
no,
of
the thing
Dhoni's
is-
stature and experience, though.
MS will always think not of what we are seeing right now. He would always keep an eye on the future as well. So if you think of the last two games wherein they were well short of the required score, maybe the two games that they played
RCB and Delhi were the two where they were well
at
short.
home.
And at the home games.
at
Chepauk.
home. So they could have easily lost by a bigger margin. So he would always calculate, okay, when you see a loss, and that's great players or great managers have always done that. And read a book on by Sir Alex Ferguson, and he would say that if the team is losing, he would try and minimize the damage, so that the gap doesn't become that big for them to catch up towards the later half of the innings or when later half of the tournament. So for me, it could also be a fact that once he senses that, okay, this is probably beyond them, then he would play a role of maybe just making sure that the margin is not that big, which doesn't affect the net run rate.
All right, I'll accept that point on what he's trying to do here. I guess the CSK fans who want to see the team win need to look at all the aspects. Now they'll also be asking themselves, what is actually our best way to win? What is our best way to turn it around? Let's assume that they get the pitches also that suit them. What are those pitches that suit this team where spin has been underwhelmingly used so far, even at the Chepauk?
I think the pitches that they are playing on are tailor-made for Chennai. To be very honest, it's just that they have not been able to execute their plans well, and also the batsmen have come up really short. So I feel they can actually drop one of the two real good weapons that they have in terms of Noor and Patirana. One of them has to maybe sit out for an overturn to boost the batting a little bit. That it's a luxury that CSK may not be able to afford at this point in time of the season. So one of them has to sacrifice.
Tricky, because those two have been their best players, informed players. But it does look like everyone's batting a position high, so I understand your point.
So if Overton was maybe there in that chase, Dhoni would have gone a little earlier. Maybe he would have taken that impetus on him, saying that I will get those big hits. Or Vijay Shankar would have really pushed himself.
I mean, the flip side is then you're chasing 200 instead of 180.
It is a gamble that you need to take.
But see, the thing is that what's the problem? So in that sense, if bowling is their stronger area at the moment, wherein Pathirana, Noor, Jadeja, Khalil, they're doing their job really well. Ashwin bowled excellently in the last game or so. So I don't think you need to tamper with the bowling. It is the batting which has to really come and deliver. So if the batting delivers, it is not as if they're conceding 240 runs, 230 runs, even though they've played 3 games in Chennai so far.
Correct.
It hasn't been a game wherein they've conceded a lot of runs. So the bowling is doing the job. It is a matter of the batsman really stepping up and delivering. Otherwise, I don't think CSK has anything else which they can do to get back on track. It is just the same personnel, stick to the same team. Probably the tournament starts from here for CSK, wherein they just forget the first 4 games and play as if they're starting the season again, because this, I believe, is their best combination.
Okay, so you believe it is the best combination with Conway and Rachin in it, and maybe you would say Gaikwad should open? Would you go back to that?
I think that is a call that they've already taken, that on the auction table, it was very clear that Ruturaj is going to bat 3. Whether they want to tweak that can be done, but that could be the last throw of the dice. Right. But apart from that, you can't do anything else.
Do you see that making a big difference if they go? Would you like to see Gaikwad tweaked, even if they decided pre-tournament, looking at how things are unfolding 4 games? Will that make a big difference to open with Rutu?
I'm not really sure when Ruturaj coming, what are his entry points in all the games, but by all...
I think his best numbers are as an opener.
But he is also coming in very early. It's not that he's coming in the 7th or 8th over.
Sure.
So he's still probably playing in the area or in the zone that he is best equipped to.
Okay.
No, I think he should open
Right.
because I mean, again, I go back to historically CSK. You have your best two openers walking out. That always used to, you have to, when you look at those openers, it gives the team a lot of confidence when you see two guys walking out. You know that one of them, if he plays 12 to 14 overs, he's going to get a big score and the team is going to put up a big score or chase a score easily. But I feel it's also the intent and the freedom that they should bat with.
My last question is just on why their reserves, and I think this is a sentiment amongst the fans too, doesn't come up with something young or exciting from the Indian camp, either an Anshul Kamboj or a Gurjapneet Singh, whether the Ashwin buy at almost 10 crore with the kind of impact he's had in the first 4 games is looking like they didn't even allow themselves a plan B or some reserves.
So generally, we have seen over the years where teams have come up with a lot of youngsters and they have gone nowhere in this tournament.
Right.
And we have seen teams like, MI who have brought in, bred in youngsters, but one at a time. It is not like 4 or 5 at a time.
Sure.
So I know fans are emotional, they want results immediately. But you also should believe in the process when things are not going well. Because this is the same process that has worked for CSK over many, many years and they have done well. So it's just that, I would urge the fans to have a little bit of patience, have trust in, the management that they have. And as Sanjay Bhai said, with a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of freedom in batting department especially, things will turn around.
Okay. Well, fans are only as emotional as the franchise.
Yeah, even we get emotional. I mean, I would throw my remote or something. But definitely when you sit back and think, this is the process that has worked for CSK.
But I'm sure when he was playing, he was just not throw the remote. He would throw the bat, the helmet, and whatnot.
See, this is how RCB and RCB fans and RCB guys try to get at me. But we are very, very calm, Sanjay.
I know from my experience with him in the playing days, he's certainly very calm.
Now I know why they had to cover all the mirrors. Because Rayudu was going to throw something here and there. Sanjay, thank you so much. Ambati Rayudu, always a pleasure. Still time for CSK to turn things around. The next challenge, Punjab Kings at New Chandigarh on Tuesday.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.